What is going on, everybody? My name is Jay, and welcome back to another episode of The Wild Wormhole. Now, it's been a little while since we recorded the last one. Me and Mike both went gallivanting again, except Mike wasn't in Germany. He was at Disneyland. And I wasn't wherever I was last time. I was in Iowa, which I will never move to, ever.
Slightly less exciting than Disney World.
Or Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, and they don't have sweet tea, so I can never go back. I just can't do it. For real though, like as soon as you walk outside in Iowa, because Iowa is just flat farmland, just tons of cornfields, and they fertilize their fields with manure. So it's like as soon as you walk outside, it smells like just manure, just like you're constantly on a farm. It was so weird, and the people that live there are already used to it.
Yeah.
So they don't notice
really
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, guys, you guys live in manure. Transition that into KeyForge, and yeah, there you go, manure.
We are really going to upset one audience member right now.
Iowan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, Mike and David, how you guys doing? How was Disneyland?
This is great. I love when you intro episodes, Jay. This is really
It's the
off
best.
to a great start. I'm doing great. I've been playing a lot of KeyForge. I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too, man. I haven't been playing a lot, but I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. I haven't been playing because I've been going on rides and stuff, but
yeah, David's been messaging us, get on Crucible. I just played 25 games in a row.
That's
My
right.
baby's taking a nap.
That's right. You guys need to get on my level. I'm not even sure you guys play KeyForge.
You know,
so.
if I could have gone on Crucible while I was waiting in line for like Space Mountain or whatever, that would have been sick.
If there was an app,
Yeah.
we would totally play against each other.
All right. Well, did you welcome our patrons listening live?
Nope, that's all you, Coach.
All right. Well, we got our Patreon, one of our tiers. They get to listen live.
Super mega deluxe,
ultra
and we're
premium.
we're in the Wild Wormhole backyard extravaganza room.
That's right.
Yep.
So Banana Crapshoot's in there, and we love the
Usually
live
Grimstar.
commentary. So we'd love for people to jump in if you want to join us, or you can just join on any of the Patreon levels. Again, just $1 of support gets you into our Discord, and we've had a lot of great discussion going on Discord, so that's been really fun.
Oh yeah. And me and Mike haven't even been here for we've been out of town for a week, so we're not
That's because
as
you don't
active
play,
as we.
and you don't play KeyForge, so
Yeah. So we've not been as active as we usually are, and it's still been bumping in there.
yeah.
I love it.
So let's jump in. This week,
Let's do it.
KeyForge. Like you guys mentioned, I've been playing a ton of KeyForge, both
That's right.
online and in person.
Well, that's good.
Went to my first sealed event, so had no idea what to expect, and it was so fun because there were 8 of us, and we all got our decks, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, round 1 pairings are up, open your decks and start playing. And so like it was literally like time was going, everyone just kind of scrambled and opened their decks, and I had looked at my deck list for 20 seconds. I was like, okay, here we go. And started playing, and it was so great. I was actually fortunate enough to win the event, went 3-0 with the deck that I just covered on the last episode of Sloppy Lab Work. So I won't go into all of that. You guys can listen to it there for more content. But man, it was a blast. I loved sealed. I love the discovery aspect of everyone's trying to figure out what the heck their decks do, and it was so great. First round, I played this girl who was there with her boyfriend and sat down, and I could tell she was really nervous, and she's like, this is my first time I've ever been in a game store. And I was like, awesome.
That's
welcome.
Awesome.
I'm
Yes.
glad you're here. And I could just tell she didn't know, all the different things, but I was happy to help her. And she had only played like 2 or 3 games of KeyForge. So, just try to help her along and show her things, and even just give her ideas about things she could do to slow me down. And it was just a great event. Again, bringing in new people, playing new stuff, and the deck I got was probably my favorite new deck. So it was a blast.
Nice. Dude, that's awesome. I love to hear stories about, new people getting into the hobby, and like I was at a tournament like a few weekends ago, and a similar situation happened where it was a guy and then his I think it was his wife, and she almost jumped in and played with us, but it would have made it an odd number. And like all of us were like, no, like just play, it doesn't matter. But she wouldn't at that point, so hopefully she does next time. But she was also pretty nervous about jumping in, which I hope that people in the KeyForge community, because of the game that it is, because of like the sort of ability for it to attract non-gamers or people who wouldn't traditionally come to a game store and like participate in a tournament, I hope that people are really like welcoming towards that.
Yeah, I think that's a hugely important thing for KeyForge right now. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back at all. I'm just trying to give a tangible example of something.
We'll pat you on the back.
In the game I was playing with her, we got to this turn where like I had enough amber to forge my last key. I had 6, and I had enough, and she was kind of looking at what she had. She's like, I don't think I can do anything. I guess that's a good game. And in that moment, I saw she had Fagin out, the Shadows guy. I think it's when you reap, you get an urchin back to your hand, and you right? Isn't that what?
Yeah, something like that.
And so I was just kind of saying, actually, before you could actually reap with him and bring an urchin back from discard pile that died a few turns ago, and then you could steal one. She's like, oh my gosh, you're right. And so she's able to do that, and then get a bunch of other amber too. That caught her up to me, and it was her boyfriend was actually sitting right there, and just said, man, thanks for being cool about all this and not being all hyper competitive and intense and all that. I was like, absolutely, because I mean like KeyForge is a casual game, and this is the time to bring in new people. And if all you do is try to win and compete and do whatever you can to win these things, that's not helpful for anybody. Helpful for your ego for like 2 seconds, but that's it. So I don't know, it's just a tangible example, like help new people. It's important to do that right now.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll shut up now. Go check out Sloppy Lab Work if you want to know more about the deck. Carteer the Tight-pursed.
Like as a person who has not yet done a sealed event, which I really am itching to do, how did it feel in terms of like did you feel that it was more or less skill testing than Archon, or did you feel like, I mean, one is a pretty low sample size, but just like how did it feel playing sealed versus playing like bring your own deck?
Yeah, I did. I think I liked it more because it was very skill based. How quickly can you figure out your combos? How quickly can you figure out what to do in different situations that present themselves? So because like in the Archon event, when everyone just brought their best deck, it was like, man, how many Shadow Selves am I going to play against today? How many Yixelix Dominators, that 9 strength, 9 power Mars guy with taunt? And I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And it was still fun. I'm not saying I didn't have fun doing that, but it was just, I think I enjoyed the sealed aspect. Because and even in like other games, like in Destiny, I enjoy limited a ton. Like I love draft because I do think it brings out a lot of like the skill side. So
yeah, and the games tend to be more different also, where it's like you are truly playing against like essentially a random deck, especially in KeyForge. And so there aren't really like, like there is, especially in sealed, there is no metagame, which just sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, totally. So I liked it a lot. I had some friends who like they could have gone to the event but didn't go to the event because they're like, I have enough decks, I don't really want to get another deck. I just want to play like Archon Bring Your Own. And I was like, okay. Like I didn't really understand that sentiment, but
yeah.
I
just want to play, man. Like
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just enjoy playing regardless if it's a sealed event or I bring my own deck.
Yeah, but I had like 2 friends that thought that, so I'm like, maybe there's more of that sentiment out there. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, but like then again, like maybe those are the people who don't necessarily belong at a sealed event. And, like the sealed crowd maybe could become a bit more
casual.
Yeah, like the people who were there to have fun, like to play and have fun, rather than to go, come and
which I do like
crush everybody.
this like figuring out my deck and getting to play it, especially when you have so many of them. It's like I want to learn each one of my decks, and that's time consuming. So I mean, I could see it from that standpoint for sure.
Yeah, and Banana Crapshoot says he has 33 decks and he'd do sealed, no questions asked, and I'm pretty much in the same boat.
Dude, 33 decks.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot of Amber Shards.
Speaking of Amber Shards and the app and all of that, great transition, Mike.
Hey, we did it.
So Fantasy Flight started something called the Crucible Cast, not to be confused with Welcome to the Crucible by Tiny Grimes. Totally different. And they basically have Brad and is it Alex and Mercedes? Is that the two of their names? Basically talking about the app and just everything KeyForge. And so I hope they do a lot more of this stuff, because FFG has never done something like this.
Yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Like the level of like direct communication with the community has been pretty insane for Fantasy Flight with KeyForge. So I'm encouraged by it.
Yeah. So Mike, why don't you just hit the bullet points kind of quickly about like what they talked about, any updates, and we can kind of hash that out.
Yeah, for sure. So there are a few cool things that came out of it. The first is they talked a little bit about the updated functionality that's coming to the app, which they're going to actually implement the chains, the win-loss area, and then the power. So the chains, we all pretty much know what that is. It's a way to handicap decks. I've heard people kind of complain about like decks being chained and like trying to game the system, where like, do you not bring your best deck to the tournament because it's going to get chained and whatever. But I think it's important to note that the chains only actually apply to quote unquote chain bound events, which as far as I can tell are only like the local store level events. And I don't even know if that includes store championships and stuff. They haven't really, explained that. But for, like your weekly, KeyForge night, I think it's totally reasonable to play with chains as a, a way to keep decks in line and stuff like that, And if it's not going to be, a thing in sort of the upper echelons of the tournament structure, it's like that's cool. It's like the nationals, the regionals, whatever, like those are the places to bring your like super busted deck, because everybody's going to bring their super busted deck and games are going to be crazy. But when you're playing against, like the person who just bought their first KeyForge deck, it's a good way to keep everything on a level playing field. And it's definitely more friendly to new players, at least in my opinion. So
yep,
you guys agree?
Yep, I think you hit it all good.
Cool. And then
yeah, for sure.
The power mechanic or whatever, like the metric is basically, as far as I can tell, also like chains, where like the more powerful your deck is, the more you win, like the higher power you'll get to. But it's not a thing where like your deck can go to like power level 4 and then drop down to 3 or whatever. It's like a progression system where as you win, it gains more power. And the video said, or the people in the video said that they wanted their deck to get to power 11, which makes me excited that the highest is 11, because that's just funny.
Turn it up to 11.
Exactly. So a couple other things they also mentioned: casual play tracking, which is pretty cool. You can, like not have to.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it just allows you to track your decks through all of your games, not just your tournament games. A store finder, which I think is critical, where stores can post their events and stuff like that, and you can search based on your location, find like events around you, stores around you, figure out ways to get out there and play, meet new people and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's really cool. And awesome. They're also switching the little carousel of cards where it's like 3 cards at the top, 1 from each of your houses. I think it's just the first card in each house. That is going to be a hand generator, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like that. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. So I think the hand generator is pretty cool for us, actually, because in our sloppy lab work episodes, we can sort of implement that. Like we can kind of make sample hands and see, like give some kind of opinions on like what house you would call, like yeah, exactly, like would I mulligan this hand, and then if this was my starting hand, like what house would I call, what cards would I play, that kind of stuff. So that could be fun. So
love it.
Nice. That's gonna be real cool.
Yeah. And then additionally to that, they talked a little bit about the amber shards and the keys. Basically, amber shards are going to be redeemed for exclusive prizes at prize walls at events. So I'm not sure if that only applies to like the bigger like Vault Tour events, or which they talk about in the video, but I'm not sure exactly what events that those apply to, but in some way you'll be able to use your amber shards to get prizes. And it also seems like you'll be able to gain amber shards from participating events and doing well at events. So it's not just opening packs of opening decks and like, logging those into the app. On the flip side, I think keys are only available like by registering decks, but I'm not totally sure on that. I don't know 100%. And what keys do is they unlock special events at the Vault Tours, which as far as I can tell, the Vault Tours are like, if you've played Magic, they're like, Grand Prix. If you've played X-Wing, I think they're like System Opens. It's like a big tournament open to anybody. Lots of, big prizes at the prize wall, exclusive stuff. And they also said that there's going to be prizes exclusive to those particular events. So it's like maybe if you go to the, like Los Angeles Vault Tour, let's say, like there are some decks that like have that in the name or something like that, which could be pretty cool. Very
cool. I like that. I'm very curious to see how creative they get with their prize support.
Yeah.
Since they can't, I guess since they can't do promos.
Yeah, like they can't really do cards, so it's gonna be really, really interesting. Can you imagine if like the winner of like a regional or like a national or something like that gets like a custom printed deck with their name on it?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
How freaking cool would that be?
Which some of them already, Jeremiah is already actually in the algorithm, so I'm set. I'm just kidding.
You don't even need to win.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, they already knew I was a winner, so they went ahead and put Jeremiah in the algorithm because I'm such a winner.
They knew that you would never win it, so they had to give you another way to get it.
It was a pity, pity entry. That's awesome. There you go.
Cool. And that's pretty much it. There was a bit more about like just the organized play structure, but you guys can watch the video and check that stuff out. It's pretty standard if you're familiar with Fantasy Flight sort of organized play. The cool thing that they did mention is that there's going to be a store championship for every set, which I think is really cool. So it's not just like a once a year thing, unless they only release one set a year. It's more of a,
which I could see because it's 350 cards.
Yeah, there's a ton of cards. I'm so curious about how they're going to do new sets, and like if they're going to reprint cards in those sets, or if everything's going to be
that's
totally
something
different.
I'd be interested in talking about. Is like, can they make new houses and it still be balanced with like the first set? Because there are several cards that are specific to like if your opponent has other houses that are
right.
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
That's true. Yeah, because there's like, destroy a Mars creature or whatever, and then like if Mars isn't even a house, like like what happens? I'm not sure. That's a really interesting question.
I would, if I were to assume, like looking at the first set, if they made another set like like May.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when they're gonna do it, but if another set came out like that soon, or I would say they would only add one new house if they added any.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. I think that would actually be a pretty cool way to do it. Just kind of like slowly add houses, and then as the game goes, like maybe
they rotate it one house out, but add a new house.
Yeah, exactly. And then like maybe they rotate sets out where like you to keep everything relevant, you can only play decks from a certain like from certain sets or whatever, which I have to imagine that people would hate that idea, because nobody thinks rotation is a good idea until everybody thinks rotation is a good idea. But could be interesting.
The whole concept of this game is so new. It's like I don't think anything's off the table. I feel like they could do anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of the old rules apply, which is very, very exciting to me.
Yep. It's like
I feel like go.
It's like they're creating a brand new framework for what this could be that we've never seen before. So it's hard to predict or even know what's best. I'm sure in like 5 years, be like, oh, well, now we get it. They should do it this way, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But until that time, who knows?
I feel like I remember hearing somewhere that they said the first set of decks is still going to be playable several sets down the road or something. I don't remember where I saw that at, but I feel like I remember hearing that.
Yeah. I will say that if they do come out with a new house in the next set, I hope that all of the people in that house are like this little purple guy in the art and customs office. I don't really understand what he is. Yeah, exactly. He looks like a purple porg with like like a purple mohawk. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I could see where they do like a block, whether it's like 1 year or if it's like four sets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like self-contained, like 4 sets, the same 7 houses, and then after that they start a new block and it's with 7 new houses and it goes for 4 sets. That would be 6 sets. Or
that would be very cool.
I could see them doing something like that.
Yeah, that would be really, really cool. And then like I don't know if it's a problem that like cards reference certain like houses, because like just you either just don't play those decks or like you play them because they're so good even though those cards are sometimes dead card.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, we got off the rails there.
There we go. All right. Moving on. We are continuing our segment on the House of the Week. And so we're moving on along. We did Brobnar, we did Dis, and we move into the House of, as my friend calls them, the Legos, also known as Logos. So Logos, yeah. So this is an interesting, I would say, fairly unique house. Has a lot of archive effects, has a lot of draw card effects. What about you guys? Like, as you look at Logos overall, what do you think Logos is trying to do in general? Obviously, there's a lot of cards, but in general, what do you think it's trying to accomplish?
To me, Logos is all about utility. There's a lot of things going on here. There's a lot of archiving, which is, like, I think one of the most powerful mechanics in the game. There's a lot of card draw. There's a lot of sort of like weird effects that sort of allow you to do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do, like Spectral Tunneler, like changes a creature to become a flank creature, which maybe can be used with another card to do something cool. There's a card like Harlan Mindlock that lets you take control of an enemy creature. There's like obviously Wild Wormhole. There's Phase
Best
Shift,
card in the game.
So yes, easily. So I think
best podcast in the game. Excuse me, sorry guys.
Yeah, you got a little tickle there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just offers a lot of utility, and like the ways that you can use the cards in Logos are kind of up to you.
Yeah, I love Logos. Logos is the first pin that I got. Well, I only have 2, but like the little pins that they were giving out at the what was it?
They gave away pins, but not pens.
I said pins.
He's making fun of your accent, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, coach. They gave away pins at the release events. Logos is the one that I got. I ended up getting 2. I think someone gave me theirs, so I got Shadows.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I was like, I gotta get Logos because Wild Wormhole, man.
Of course.
It's definitely the draw your deck. You know, everything is like draw a card. I love that it's got archiving, because archiving feels like probably the most unique mechanism that's new to card games.
Mhm.
If it's new, is archiving like a new thing?
I
'Cause
haven't really
I know
seen it
Destiny
elsewhere.
doesn't have it.
Yeah, I haven't really seen it elsewhere. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Besides like the calling a house thing, I think archiving is like the first like unique
Yeah. Well, I think
mechanism.
I think like the calling a house thing and being able to play as many cards from that house as you want is what makes the archiving mechanism work. Because if it was just a normal, card game with like a basis in, resources, you only have so many resources that you can spend on any given turn. So like extra cards that you draw are useful, but they're not as useful as they are in this game. So
Yeah.
I think this is perfectly suited for it, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And archiving is insanely awesome. Even if you only have like one archive card in your deck, like so many times I've played a couple of my decks that only have like one way to archive, but I would archive like a Coward's End or archive like a library access or something.
Yep.
And wait for that perfect turn to get it and use it. So
Yeah.
It's like the sort of house that lets you kind of assemble your toolbox and then just like pick it up and use it whenever you need to.
yeah, it's sick. I like it.
Super cool. I also love the theme and flavor of the house.
Oh yeah.
Just like all the robots and the aliens and just like the weird sort of like sciencey stuff going on. Like if you scroll through like just like a visual of all the Logos cards, like the colors and like sort of the way everything is sort of bound together is really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
It's also
And it's got some of the most handsome artwork in the game.
Which is that?
Quixo the Adventurer.
wow, brown nose over here.
What? Brown nose?
I
What
feel
are you
like
talking about?
I also feel like
This is an
Logos is the house where I have to reread the cards more than any other house. Like Spangler Box, Crazy Killing Machine, like Neutron Shark.
Neutron Shark. Yeah.
Like, I always have to read like, wait. Okay, so if this happens, then I do this, and then this happens. Like it's just it's a weird one, man.
Yeah.
Well,
it's on theme because
you gotta know
put in
rocket
the
science.
research. Yeah.
That's true. All right, so let's jump into like our favorite cards from Logos. I'm gonna start with mine. There's a lot of great ones that I'm sure we'll refer to at
The
different
Wild
points.
Wormhole.
Obviously, I mean that's a given. Favorite besides Wild Wormhole.
Quixo the Adventure.
Oh my gosh. Mine is Interdimensional Graft. So this is an action. It gives you an amber for playing it, and it has a play effect. If an opponent forges a key on their next turn, they must give you their remaining amber. So this is a card that, like a lot of times you don't. If you're playing against a Shadows deck, right, you're typically playing around bait and switch, and you're thinking, okay, I got to be careful about that, or I got to be careful about too much to protect. But Interdimensional Graft is one of those where I feel like, okay, so like today I was playing on the Crucible, and I played this. My opponent had a giant board. I had one creature, and he got up to 10 amber, and I had one. And he got up to 6, and then I played Miasma from Shadows and made it so he couldn't forge the next turn. And so he takes his next turn with his giant board to reap, get all this, get up. I think he was like 10 or 11, and then I played Interdimensional Graft. And so he forged and then gave me like 4 or 5 amber without him being able to do anything about it. It was it's a huge swinging play where it timed out in the right place, like can give you... I wouldn't say like most of the time people get up to like 10, but a lot of times it's really easy to get up to like, 7 or 8 without like trying super hard.
Especially if you're being, miasma at every turn. It's like at a certain point, it's like, do you just not play your cards that give you amber?
Right.
I mean, the answer probably is yes, but it feels bad.
Yeah.
So that's mine. What about you, Jay? What's your favorite?
I was gonna say, if you play this with like, even if you don't have, because Shadows is weird, right? So like if you have Shadows, you have bait and switch or too much to protect and stuff like that. So it works weird with Interdimensional Graft, unless you only have Miasmas and you don't have those cards. But if you're playing Dis and you have like Key Hammer or something like that to make him jump way up there, then that's another really cool way to get a ton of extra amber.
Mm-hmm.
I think David died. His thing says he disconnected.
Sorry, guys.
There he goes.
I muted myself because I have my dogs in the same room, and they're like attacking each other. So I didn't want to make bad radio. So I'm just gonna address it now. I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's a good pick though. That's a good pick. I like it.
Thanks.
All right, what was mine again? Oh yeah, mine is Dimension Door. Dimension Door is one of those cards that I was talking about earlier. That if you have a way to archive it, then it could be super sick. But if you don't have a way to archive it, sometimes it's really tough to get a way to play it. What it says is play for the remainder of the turn. Any amber you would gain from reaping is stolen from your opponent instead. So one, you have to time it perfectly, because if your opponent doesn't have enough amber for all the creatures that you reap with, then you end up not getting any because it has to be stolen from your opponent instead of gained normally. So like if you have 6 Logos guys out there but your opponent only has 5, you need to reap with one of them, then play it, then reap with the rest. Also, you have to be able to play a bunch of Logos guys, have them stick on the board, and then play this, because more times than not you're gonna have to call Logos to play this card unless you have something like some other way of playing out of house cards. So you need to get your Logos guys out there, make them stick. But when it works and you get to just reap and steal like 5 amber, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, that definitely feels good. I think that this would like how many amber do you think you need to steal for this to be like good? I would say even like 3 is
2.
Like pretty good. Yeah, like 2 or 3 is
I was gonna
pretty
say
solid.
2. Yep.
So yeah, I like this card. I haven't seen it in very many decks that have like a really high sort of creature count in Logos, but it is really, really cool and definitely devastating when it goes off at the right time.
Yep, you gotta archive it. Get it ready.
Yep.
Get that toolbox.
So that's why archiving's so good, man.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Mike, what about you?
My favorite, because archiving is so good, is Dysania, who's a 4-power creature.
My least favorite.
4-power creature that says play. Your opponent discards each of their archived cards. You gain 1 amber for each card discarded this way. And if you guys want to know why Jay hates this card, you can go check out one of our old gameplay videos where Jay doesn't know that this card exists, and I draw it at exactly the right time to just destroy him.
I have like 12 cards in my archive, and he got like 12 amber from it.
Like Jay reads the card and he's like, "What?"
Yeah. That's Richard Garfield's dream right there. Discovery, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Funny. What a goof. What a goof.
I think it's funny that they created the anti-Logos card in the Logos house.
Yeah, I do too. But I love that this card exists. If it didn't, archiving would just be like absurd, I think.
But it's rare, and it's like the only card in the game that does
it is rare, and it is the only card in the game that does something to your opponent's archives. That is true. So in a format where you're like bringing multiple decks to an event, if archiving becomes a powerful thing, which I have to imagine that it will, I would also assume that a bunch of people will bring like Dysania decks just in case, like to kind of combat those, which is pretty interesting.
For sure.
Yep.
Dude, that's meta talk. We don't talk about that around here. Come on, man. This is KeyForge.
So I knew we were talking about Logos tonight, and so this afternoon, because I actually play KeyForge, unlike the other 2 hosts on this podcast, I sat at Starbucks and grinded out a bunch of games with Logos decks that I had, and it was really interesting because I was playing my friend Marcus, and he had a Logos deck, and we both had really sick Dysania plays. Nice. Where at one point he had Novu Archaeologist on the board. It's a Logos character with 4 power, and he has an action that says archive a card from your discard pile.
So good.
And so he had played Library Access, played a bunch of crap, got a ton of amber, and then used this guy's action to archive Library Access, to basically do it again next turn or in a future turn. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's insane. I need to kill that archaeologist.
What does Library Access do?
Library Access is an action that says, I want to make sure I read it.
For the remainder of the turn, each time you play another card, draw a card.
Yes. So it's, if you have a ton of Logos cards, It's great. Even if you have a couple, you might just keep drawing into Logos cards and draw until like your deck is half depleted, basically.
Or all the way depleted.
Yes, in certain cases. But anyways, so he had so he got his library access in there, and he left it in there a couple turns. I could tell he was like building his hand a little bit, and then I dropped Desania, discarded his library access. He's like, I hate you. And then he showed me his hand next turn, and it was like all Logos cards. Like he was about to have like an insane turn. And then awesome. but he did it right back to me because I like in the very beginning of the game, I had archived Battlefleet from my Mars. So and Battlefleet's a Mars card. It's an action that gives you an amber. Reveal any number of Mars cards from your hand. For each card revealed this way, draw one card. So kind of similar to library access, maybe not as good, but
no, it's better because it's a Mars card.
Well, yeah, and it gives you an amber, but I don't know. So anyways, I love archiving this and saving it for when my hand gets full of Mars stuff, and then dropping Battlefleet and drawing a ton of cards. And then so he played Desania. I was building it, and I had 4 Mars cards, and then he dropped Desania, discarded Battlefleet, and I was so sad.
Nice.
It's terrible. Terrible.
No, it sounds amazing. Awesome. Yep. Whenever anything bad happens to you, I'm just...
I won the game, Jay, so suck it.
Dang it.
But yeah, I love those plays that just slow him down. Yeah. And again, it's like if Desania doesn't exist, archive, man, it can get out of hand.
Yep.
I think Logos has some of the coolest upgrades too, with the rocket boots and the sandals. And the rocket boots are this creature gains fight reap if this is the first time this creature was used this turn. Ready it, so you get to use a creature twice.
So good, yeah.
In one turn. And then the sandals give you an amber, and it's this creature gains action. Swap this creature with another friendly creature in the battle line. You may use the other creature this turn.
Yeah.
So you get to use another out-of-house creature. And then the other upgrade is one of the ones.
If you have both rocket boots and transportation sandals on a character, you can use like 2 guys twice, basically.
Hold on. Right? We gotta draw a diagram.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. That would be wild. That's cool. I didn't think about that.
You can reap with the rocket boots, and then because it's an ignore me, because transportation sandals is specifically an action.
Yeah. It's not reap. Do this.
That would be sweet if it was reap though.
And then the other upgrade is like the collar one that I said when we did this. It's you play it on another creature and it stuns and exhausts that creature.
Yeah. Oh, and they belong to all houses, right?
Yeah.
Experimental therapy. Okay. So you could use it on your own creature if you really wanted to.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even see that top part.
Yeah. But stunning and exhausting is pretty good.
Feels pretty bad when you do it yourself too.
Yeah. Well, unless like your next
I guess if you already use them too, then.
Let's say you're playing Logos and Sanctum. Sanctum has like Clear Mind or whatever, which removes all the stun tokens. Yeah. So maybe you play this on your creature, and then the next turn you call Sanctum and you remove the stun. And then
that makes sense.
The fact that it was exhausted didn't matter anyway.
Nope.
So yeah.
I did want to give a shout out to one other card, Remote Access. It's an action that gives you an amber, says play, use an opponent's artifact as if it were yours. Like those plays that you don't see coming when your opponent can just like exhaust an artifact that you're planning on using, like a Lash of Broken Dreams from Dis
or like a Nepenthe Seed.
Oh, that too. Yeah, any of the discard effects, anything crazy. Like that, it can really, mess up your opponent, and because then it's exhausted if it's just like for their next turn, or if it's like a Nepenthe Seed, it's discarded. So, yeah.
Dude, there's so many good Logos cards.
Yeah.
It's such a fun house.
We can't mention them all.
It's fun.
We didn't even mention the Time Traveler.
I know. Yeah. I know.
I will say though, I feel like Logos is still my bottom 3 as far as interest goes. Like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for me personally, like, it's fine, but I don't get excited playing Logos decks.
I think the one thing to me is it feels like Logos is this big, like, you do this huge combo, but you didn't really do anything. You know what I mean?
there are a lot of times when I'm playing against somebody and they library access into like a bunch of nothing. And then it's like, yeah, like you did just play 10 cards, but like,
did you really do anything?
What did you do?
And then I play Key to Dis, and that 10, all those cards are gone.
Gateway to Dis, yes.
Or yeah, Gateway. I don't know. It feels like a lot of the times when you do the big combo, sometimes it just doesn't do anything.
Yep. All right, well that's the Logos house. Need to move on to my favorite time of the week, King Potato, where we highlight funny names we see out in the community. Some of them are submitted, some we see, and this one popped up. I don't remember where I saw this, but get your thinking brains on, Jay and Mike, because
I can't look it up.
This is a good. Don't you look it up?
I was about to.
King Potato for this week is the outlaw that now regrets alcohol.
Nice.
So hang on. In theory, Jeremiah is in the game. So this could say like Jeremiah that now regrets alcohol.
Yeah.
Which has happened more times than not.
This is Jay's Carter here. All right, so based on that name, guess the houses. The best we've had is 2 out of 3. None of you guys have gotten all 3 correct. So
all right, well this is it.
I'll let Mike go first, unless you want me to go first.
No, I at least have one house that I'm pretty convinced on, but it seems
me too.
Seems fairly obvious. I mean, I'm probably wrong, but it seems obvious that outlaw is some kind of shadows.
Gotta
thing,
be
right.
Gotta be
because they're thieves. I guess like are they outlaws? Like, yeah, probably. Maybe Sanctum. And
what did we decide alcohol was last time? Didn't we have one that had booze in it or something?
Oh, did we?
Yeah, I feel like we did.
Yeah, no, it was wine. It was fine wine.
Fine wine. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember what we decided wine was. But we were probably wrong.
Yeah.
I think we were saying wine like grapes, so untamed.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a stretch there, but that's what this is about. All right, I'm gonna say Shadows, Sanctum, and maybe let's just stick with. No, okay, let's say Brobnar. Brobnars are the guys who you would think would like drink so much that they regret it.
Yeah.
They're the party house.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking that as well,
yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Shadows, Dis, and Untamed. Shadows for outlaw, Dis for regret, and then Untamed for alcohol.
That's pretty good.
All right, guys. So the deck. Sorry, I'm trying to decide the order. So the deck is Dis.
Okay.
So 1 point for Jay, 0 for Mike.
And that's it.
Untamed.
Mars.
Untamed.
No way.
Nice.
I don't know why. I can't. Maybe they're outlaws. I guess. I don't know.
No, Untamed alcohol. That's what I said.
Okay. I see. Like, yeah. Okay.
I said regret is Dis, alcohol is Untamed, and then outlaw has to be Shadows.
Is it Brahma?
Logos.
What?
Oh.
No. Come on.
I don't know why. I do not. I genuinely have no idea. I can't explain that one.
Wow. I was 0 for 3 there.
That was close.
Maybe they're doing like illegal scientific experiments. They're outlaws.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Maybe we're thinking of it wrong. Untamed are outlaws. The Dis regret, and all scientists are drunks.
There it is.
Or alcohol is a weird chemical, so they,
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's true.
Isopropyl alcohol. There you go.
That's true.
Awesome. Well, that's it. Still no full winners, but Jay did win this week. So congratulations, Jay.
Thank you. I'd like to dedicate this to all of my fans.
I'll edit this out. We got to cut this. I don't want to hear this. All right, well, that'll do it for this week's episode of The Wild Wormhole. Merry Christmas to all. We're so excited to play some more KeyForge.
This is our holiday special.
This is our Christmas special episode right here. So
because we said one thing about Christmas. It's now our holiday special.
Hey,
that's right.
Our Christmas guide for KeyForge is buy a deck because you don't have to buy singles.
That's right. That's right.
The easiest Christmas guide ever.
So be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search Wild Wormhole. And then, like I said earlier, patreon.com/The Wild Wormhole. Jump on as a supporter. Even just $1 gets you into our Discord channel where we're having lots of fun. Talks about the game and even finding games to play against people on Crucible who don't quit after the first key. Shots fired at all of you out there who are terrible quitters. So give us a review on iTunes. We love those. That helps us get in front of people who are searching KeyForge for the first time on their podcast. And I think that's about it. Shout out to Banana Crapshoot. Special Merry Christmas to him for jumping in to Discord today. He helps move the discussion along, but we'd love
He's a legend.
Add some more people in here. Jay, Mike, anything else?
Thanks, bye.
Nope, not yet. Our flavor text to end is the flavor text on.
You didn't even do one
on Rocket Boots.
Oh, nice.
Is wee. It's literally WH and 5 E's on Rocket Boots
and an exclamation.
I feel like you said it as though there were like 12 E's.
Wee.
So that was like 7
Closer.
Probably. Yeah.
Closer.
There you go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay, thanks. Bye.